Today we are going to be learning about how to find equivalent fractions using models. Now, instead of drawing out the models today, what instead we are going to do is we're going to use fraction circles and fraction tiles. The only difference is instead of actually using the fraction tiles and circles when you are modeling, you will actually draw out what you see. So I'll demonstrate that. So let's look. Mrs. Grubbs asked her mom to bake a yellow cake with chocolate frosting and give her 2/3 of it. Her mom sliced the cake into 6 pieces. How many pieces of cake should her mom give her so that Mrs. Grubbs receives 2/3 of the cake? Now, I have a problem. One problem that I see is that, I thought my mom was going to slice up the cake and the whole was going to be divided up into 3 parts. But instead, she broke up the whole into 6 parts. But I really like my yellow cake with chocolate frosting, so I still want 2/3 of that cake. All right, so we got to figure it out. How much does my mom, how many slices does she need to give me? So when we look here, this is our whole piece of cake, okay? Now, I would like 2/3 of that cake. So I want 1/3, 2/3. The problem though is my mom, she sliced her cake up into 6 pieces. So I need to figure out, and I'm going to model, how can I change that fraction from 2/3 and figure out how many slices would I get if it is broken up into 6 pieces. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, or we're just gonna lay them right over the top. So right now I see 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and next 4 pieces. So in order for my mom to actually give me 2/3 of that cake, she would need to give me 4/6 of her cake because she broke her cake up into 6 pieces instead of 3 pieces. Okay. Now, we can show this in a different way. We can show it using fraction tiles as well. So right now, I thought my mom split that cake up into 3 pieces, and I asked for 2/3 of it, okay? But the problem is she actually broke it up into 6 pieces, so I need to figure out how many pieces of her cake am I going to get. So I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. That equals 2/3. Now, I'm going to show you another way that we can do this. Let's say my mom and my grandma, they're in a competition. My grandma says, my yellow cake with chocolate frosting is better than your mom's. But my grandma has a problem. She cut her cake up into 12 pieces. So now I need to figure out, oh goodness, grandma, I still want 2/3 of that cake. How many pieces is my grandma going to give me? So we're going to line them up and we're going to figure that out. So right now we have 2 12s, 4 12s, 6 12s, 8 12s, okay? So grandma would need to give me 8 slices to equal up to those 2/3 that I'm asking for. Now, there's a problem. My aunt, she wants to get into the competition, but the problem is she divides her cakes up into 4 pieces. So we're going to try and figure out, can she give me 2/3 of her cake using those 4 pieces? So let's see. 1/4. She just gave me 2 slices. Let's see if she can give me 3 slices. There's a problem. She can't give me 3 slices. It's not equaling up to that 2/3. Well, let's see if I take one away. She just gives me 2 slices. She's cheating me. I'm short a couple of pieces of cake. It's still not equaling up to that 2/3. Now let's think about why is this, okay? And the reason why we're going to think of this is because as we get further along in our fraction learning, we're going to learn the word multiples. Now let's think. 3, 6, and 12. Okay, they are all multiples of that number 3. So if we count by 3s, we will have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So anything that's a multiple of 3, we're going to be able to come up with an equivalent fraction for. However, let's look at that number 4. is for a multiple of 3. Let's think. 3, 6, 9. So we just skipped over that number 4. So when we are thinking of finding equivalent fractions, we need to think of the multiples for that denominator. So we're going to take our original denominator, the original fraction of the denominator, and think about those multiples. Now, we just did all of this, so instead of actually having those fraction tiles, what you would do instead would be you would just draw it out. So you would represent your 2/3, and then you would break it up into 6 parts, okay? Or you would draw 2 circles that look like this, and you would shade in, after you broke it up into 3 parts, you would shade in the first and second part, and the same thing for this one. We would draw 1 circle, we would break it up into 6 parts, but instead we would shade 4.